Okay, we're ready.
I'd like to call to order the Genoa Township Board meeting of April 20th, 2020. If everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance
To
to the flag
of the United
Allegiance
States,
to the flag of the United States of America,
stands
to the republic for which it
which
stands,
stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Next on our agenda is call to the public. We have a phone line that's open, and we also requested folks beforehand to email us. As with all call to the publics, we do not respond immediately to those requests, but we do take those, and if there's something we need to get back with you on, we will. So we'll just kind of proceed from there. This is just a new territory for all of us, so bear with us. Let's move to the approval of the consent agenda.
Move approval. Martinson moves approval.
Lowe supports.
We have a motion and support. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Well, actually, I already broke my own rule. Let's move on to the approval of the regular agenda. That would be items 4 through 6, plus correspondence, discussion, and a couple of memos by staff.
Ledford moves approval.
Martinson supports.
We have a motion and support. Is there any dissension? Hearing none, this passes with unanimous support. We now have an agenda. First up, item number 4. This is a request for the approval of an agreement with the Livingston County Road Commission for Dillon Street storm sewer improvement with a 50% cost sharing with the Livingston County Road Commission, not to exceed $99,000.
I move to approve for discussion.
Hunt support.
Okay, I have a question. Maybe you can help clarify this for me. In fact, this appears for the next, for item, not only item 4, but also for 5 and 6. On item 1 of the project agreement, it says the cost of the project not to exceed $99,000. Then if you drop down to item C, it says on the 3rd line, if there is a dispute over the balance due upon completion, township will pay the amount claimed by the road commission. Doesn't that contradict each other?
Good question.
Mike, you want to?
I'm sorry, Gene, you're on section 1C.
Yes, well, first on number 1, the section on number 1 says project not to exceed $99,000. Then if you drop down to C, it says if there's a dispute over the balance due, township will pay the amount claimed by the road commission. One seems to contradict the other. I mean, either you do not exceed 99 or you do if they calculated it to be over 99.
All I can tell you, this is standard boilerplate language that they have. This is the same language we've approved probably dozens of times. The road commission has eaten a lot of overages. Whenever we get into a problem, they take it on the chin for us. So I don't foresee any issues. Typically they have a 10% overage when we do special assessments, but because this is a cost sharing project, they have a little bit different language, but this is what we've approved over and over again. If you'd like, I can check with council to see if we need to table this or whatever, but we haven't had a problem.
I think that's boilerplate from a lot of contracts. It just means you're not going to withhold payment under a contract while you're disputing. I don't know that that applies to an overage. It just, you know, if you're not happy with the work at a point in time, paper payment and argue later. What I think that almost millions of contracts are written that way. I don't know.
A lot of cases, especially when you're dealing with, I'll call it underground work, what transpires is we can sit there and say we have the best knowledge possible of what we're getting into, but you could put a shovel in the ground and hit water, a ton of it at 1 foot, 2 foot, whatever the case may be. So it's just that precautionary thing in the event there's something totally unforeseen, and to do the appropriate engineering, hydro and everything else, we would never get a road project done anywhere in the state.
Well, and on that note, you'll recall we have done topo and we have done geo. So there shouldn't be many surprises. We know what we're getting into. And you're right, Jim, that's not really for overages. It's just if there's any claim we're agreeing to pay. So what's your pleasure, folks?
We have, like you said, we've approved this boilerplate contract many times. I don't have a problem moving forward with these.
Move approval.
Okay,
Low support.
The one thing I'm going to request from the motion support is that we change the term in the headline from Brighton Street to Brighton Road. Is that acceptable with the two?
okay. Could I make one more correction here too?
Absolutely.
Let's go back to item 1. And on the second sentence, it says the remaining balance of will be paid. Should one of the, should be removed? And it should say the remaining balance will be paid by the Livingston County Road Commission?
Sure, we can delete the of.
Okay, that goes for the other two as well. They both
Okay.
say the same thing. Thank you.
Okay, so is everyone clear now? We have a motion support with those couple of modifications, cleanup. Does everybody understand exactly what we have now here?
Yes,
Yes.
Is there any dissenting votes? Hearing none, this will pass with unanimous support.
Okay,
Item number 5, and you'll probably have to bring up at least the of again. Let's go to the request for the approval of an agreement with the Livingston County Road Commission for a mill and overlay of Chilson Road from Brighton Road to Latson Road with a 50% cost sharing with the Livingston County Road Commission not to exceed $182,500. What is your pleasure?
I guess the only thing I just want to point of reference here is that we are doing these projects because they're public roads and the county contributes to these. We cannot participate if it's not a public county road. So that's why we're targeting these streets.
Yeah, I just one question about it. It says from Brighton Road to Latson Road,
Mhm.
approximately
no.
Chilson Road, Brighton Road to Latson Road, approximately 1.1 miles. Is that all it is? 1 mile there?
It's hard to believe, but yes, just past that roundabout.
Yeah, I looked at a map, I couldn't, all right.
What
Seems
might
like
throw
I
you a
have any
little-
issue with it, I just,
what might throw you a little bit, Jim, is the roundabout's brand new and it's in the middle of it, so they're not gonna work. They've already done probably about a 15 tenths of a mile.
On
Yeah.
either side of that, correct.
okay, I don't have an issue. Mortensen moves approval.
Ledford support.
And you mentioned, I think the of is still in this one also? Yes, no?
Yeah, yes,
And remove that, correct?
sure, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yes,
We have a motion and support with that change. Any comment or questions beyond? Any discussion? Hearing none, is there any dissent in regard to this particular motion?
No,
None. This passes with unanimous support. Let's move to number 6. This is a request for the approval of an agreement with the Livingston County Road Commission for a mill overlay of Door Road from I-96 to Green River with a 50% cost sharing with the Livingston County Road Commission not to exceed $122,500. What is your pleasure?
Move approval, Scaleras.
Mortensen, support.
Whatever.
Of course, removing the of.
You got
Yes.
this?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a motion support. Any further discussion? Any dissension? Hearing none, this passes with unanimous support. Now we move on to correspondence.
That's quick.
Yes, you have a memo from Comcast. And this is, they're going to continue to ensure that our communications facilities and services are operating and maintained during this period of a national emergency related to COVID-19. You have another memo from Comcast related to the Cartoon Network moving to digital preferred package. And the last item you have is correspondence between our township manager, Mike Arcanol, and a resident who appreciates what we've done with refuse collection and disposal for his personal property. That's it.
Okay. So we move on to member discussion. And part of that, if you wish to make comment or ask questions regarding, I should say as the manager, are you going to go over your response in this discussion item?
Sure, I have a couple things. Our council is watching us apparently and indicated, Bill, that we didn't close the call to the public, so that action would be appropriate at this time.
Make a motion to close the call to the public. Hearing no dissent, call the public is closed.
Did we get a support?
support.
Who was the original maker?
Technically, I was, which I can't do.
I will. And then,
I'll make that motion, Low. So Robin and Diana?
yes,
Okay, thank you.
And normally we don't even have to do it that way. But I appreciate it. All righty.
So in terms of the correspondence and for member discussion, I thought it was appropriate to update the board as to what we're doing in this pandemic. We've stayed pretty solid. Water and sewer and refuse are the three essential services we provide here. You could throw in elections too. Sorry, Polly. Elections, refuse, water, and sewer. So we basically split the workforce in half to separate them. If something happens, we don't need everyone getting sick at one time. We're driving separately. The crews are showing up independently, so they're not having two or three guys in a truck. The biggest concern here has been refuse collection. Advanced was down 8 drivers due to 1 positive and some pre-screening issues. So we've temporarily suspended the large item pickup and any yard waste collection. I talked to the district manager today. They're getting back drivers. Some new ones are leaving, but the whole is getting back to normal. And they're hoping to reinstitute the large item pickup very shortly. I would hope in May, hopefully when the executive orders change, if we don't get extended. So same thing with yard waste. We've canceled the spring yard waste pickup or drop off here at the township hall. People have been pretty understanding. They know that this is a unique situation. We've had a few residents. One thing that's going on is a lot of people are cleaning out attics and garages. So we've seen a real spike in garbage flow, but they've done a great job. We're trying to keep the drivers in the truck. We don't want them touching material. And so far, knock on wood, we've been able to stay the course and not have any missed pickups. Greg has some more information for you. There's also a recommendation that we suspend overdue payments penalties for our water and sewer users, which I think is appropriate. We've got enough operating cash to handle that for a quarter or two. And seems like the right thing to do given the fact that so many folks are not drawing a paycheck right now.
And
So-
just so you all know, the MHUG Water Authority already approved to waive the penalties on their billing,
And
Oh,
geez,
and
Good.
the sewer authority.
good.
Well, I don't have a problem with that, but should we not make a motion?
That's entirely appropriate. If you would like to make a motion to suspend late fees for the Oak Point water, Lake Edgewood water and sewer districts, that would be appropriate.
Hunt move that.
Let's-
Support.
Let's support that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
you have that, Polly? Hunt,
No, I didn't get it. Who was it?
Hunt and Croft.
Oh, yeah, crops. So
Yep.
it's breaking up.
It is, it's a delay, so it's a little strange. I'll give you that, but, so Hunt, motion, Croft, support.
Support, yes, that's it.
Thank you.
Including what, we did at MHOG Geo in regard to holding off any fees
Like-
this juncture. Any other discussion?
One other item related to the Dillon Street
We need to-
project.
Let's vote on that first.
Thank you.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, then this passes with unanimous support. Sorry, go ahead, Mr. Mike.
Sure. In regards to the Dillon project, we were trying very hard to do that in concert with a special assessment for the balance of the neighborhood over there. Dillon, State, Magnolia, Laurel, and Holly. We were going to try to do all those roads at once. The projects can move forward independently. The drainage that we all are aware of that we've been talking about for so long is really within a 2-block stretch coming off of Brighton Road North on Dillon. We have a contract with the road commission to do a slurry coat and patch seal, which would have really made it look nice. But given this pandemic, I didn't think it was appropriate to move forward with the informational meetings and kind of the hands-on hand holding we need to do with the neighborhood to get this thing done right. So again, we're going to try to do that. They can move forward independently. So I'm going to send a letter, if it's okay with the board, doing 2 things. One, letting them know we're going to address their problem, which is going to be very, very popular. 2, I'm going to inform them that once we get past these open meeting restrictions and the restriction on the number of people who can congregate in one spot, we'll move forward with an informational meeting and try to get an SAD done so everything will look all new out there. But I think you're going to be very, very popular. You're going to make a lot of people happy by the action you just took this evening.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Yes. Bill and I talked today, and I attended an MTA webinar on actions related to the virus. And I got to tell you, it was a good seminar, but I retained nothing. I mean, it just went in one ear and out the other. And I think part of the problem, it was a Q&A. Different people wrote in emails. And I don't know about you, but when I go to any seminar, I listen to the presentation, and when it gets to the Q&A part, it just doesn't work for me. But it raises a question. And in light of this new digital age, we should re-examine our per diem policy about attending meetings. any kind of meeting that is reimbursable. And should somebody approve it? Two members approve it? How should it work? I don't know. But I think for a future meeting, maybe Mike could draft a policy or update the policy we have or take a look at it. What do you think?
I would lean toward pre-approval.
Okay,
Get it approved before you attend the meeting.
yeah,
Yeah, we can do that, Jim. We'll find a BMP and get something back to you next meeting.
yeah.
Because
And-
regardless whether it's pre-approval or post, it should then, if it's pre-approval, we still should have a policy in place for that. We'll just be ahead of the curve in case this comes up again. Hopefully this is going to be.
Yeah, and this to me would apply to attendance out of town conferences or conferences by anybody where there's going to be expenses incurred. So broader, kind of a little bit broader, but take a look at it,
Very
Will
good.
do. Yep.
Very good.
because it's going to change. The world's changing. Now, I don't know what it's ever going to go back to, but I think it's going to, whatever it turns out to be is going to be different before this virus.
I
Yep.
couldn't disagree with you there on that.
Yeah.
one.
Okay,
Anything else?
no,
I have one quick thing. Did receive a call from Panhandle Eastern last Friday. They're going to be doing some property, some clearing of their easements. And he just wanted to give us a heads up. So in case we were getting any phone calls or anything, they did send out letters to all of the folks that would be involved with this. But I just thought it was a nice gesture to say, we know you're probably going to get the phone calls, so at least you know it's in our easements. They've been notified and left a number and stuff like that. So if you hear anything, that was all, they've been quite above board in regard to that and legally can do so, by the way, since it is in those easements. So, and my last comment personally is that we know that the state is already talking about struggles with their budget, everything else. So let's just make sure we're very cognizant and diligent when it comes to our budget. We've done a phenomenal job through the years. And let's just not count on any money from the state and just keep plodding ahead. And I think we're in fantastic financial shape. All of you folks that have been around a while have really done well with that. And so it puts us in a good place. But just be aware that could crop up and we shouldn't be shocked by it. And then we'll just, so I'd appreciate that. Also appreciate all the effort by all of you and all of the staff during these times. That we've pretty well been seamless and totally operational. So that's got to play well with all of our constituents and everyone else. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd like to give a quick update on elections. I have about 85 people that work for me for elections, and I'm going to be sending them a letter early in May to make sure that they're still wanting to work the election. And I hope I get a really good response, because if I don't, I don't know how we're going to be, I don't know how any clerk in the state of Michigan is going to run their election if they lose half of their people. The state of Michigan can only do so much. So hopefully it's going to work out for us.
Let's hope so. Are there any now, all the elections have been postponed till essentially August. Is that true?
Yeah, the next election is August. We start preparing early in June. So that's only a little bit better than a month from now. We'll be sending out 4,500 absent voter ballot requests, but we have close to 16,000 persons that are eligible to vote in Genoa Township. So I'm really hoping that more people will sign up for automatic receipt of ballots
Excellent.
at home, and then they can vote them at home and take their time.
All righty. Anything else, anyone?
Nope.
a motion for adjournment is in order.
Excuse me, do we have to have another call to the public?
No.
No? Okay. Move to adjourn.
There's
Croft supports.
We have support.
And the support was Jim? Who was the support?
Terry, I think.
I said it, yeah. Croft,
Okay.
Croft, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Knows his voice really well. What can I tell you? We have
Yeah.
a motion
I
support
wasn't sure. I thought Jim said it too at the same time.
on adjournment. Hearing none, we pass with unanimous support. Thank you very much. You know, I think everything went pretty darn well. Thank you to Matt and Luke, by the way. Throw those out there for helping us with this technology. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing I do, just offhand, we need to work on the Pledge of Allegiance. I was pretty jumbled. I mean, I'm not
You
being
have cut the
critical of
streaming,
anybody,
right?
but everybody up and down and then nobody said it in unison because of the technology. So
Well, I think we